Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to the ABC Zoo. In this episode, we are going to be doing N, which is going to be the Nasutoceratops, a species of ceratopsian dinosaur. This was requested in the last episode, which it was a little bit different this time in terms of requests because it wasn't as much time in between because I missed a week and both M and L ended up coming out the same day rather than normally being a week apart, so there wasn't as much time in between these two episodes. But I liked the suggestion. It was something different, something you don't normally see, I think, so that's what I went with, and it's a pretty cool looking dinosaur, so that's what you're seeing here. And I'm actually very pleased with the way this exhibit turns out in the end. It's one of the more complex, I think, exhibits I've done in a little while. You'll see I do make pretty good use of some new downloads that I have. They're not new, really. I mean, a lot of other people have had them for a long time, but they're new for me. So, and it's mostly just sort of this elevated path. You can see this elevated viewing area that runs almost between the exhibit, between the main enclosure and this barn here. So that I went in with a really clear idea of what I wanted it to look like, and I'm very pleased to say that it turned out pretty much exactly how I wanted it to. So that's always good to see. But it's I mean, the actual enclosure part itself is very simple. But I really like the way this elevated viewing area and the barn all turned out. I think it turns out really well. So hopefully you guys agree with me. And what else do I want to talk about? I will say just right at the bat, those of you who don't know what this series is, it's me and it's a collab series with me and AnimalGenius as we go through essentially the alphabet and do an exhibit for animals based on their name in alphabetical order. So right now I'm doing N. Next week on AnimalGenius's channel he'll be doing was it M, N, O? Yeah, O. So O will be on his channel, so he'll do an animal that starts with O, and then I'll do P on my channel following that. So in the description of this video you can go ahead and leave your suggestions for animals to do for P. So any animal whose name starts with P. Like a peacock or a pelican or pangolin, anything you can think of. So anything is free game. So leave your suggestions and I'll choose from those. So yeah, but yeah, I'm like I said before, I'm very pleased with the way this one turned out, and it's always good when you can sort of have an idea in your head of what you want it to look like, and it actually does end up looking like that. I've had times where that isn't the case, where I'll go in with a really clear idea and it turns out looking nothing the way I want it to, and I'm largely disappointed with it. But for the most part, I feel like a lot of times, honestly, I don't really go in with a clear idea. I just kind of like jumping in and sort of seeing how it turns out, almost like just grabbing a blank canvas and then just start painting and seeing what you ultimately end up creating. I do a lot of that. So, but as a whole, it generally turns out well. So not always. There's times where I'm not pleased with exhibits. Even exhibits I've put out there, on my channel, I don't always love the way they turn out. But sometimes I figure that's not a bad thing. Like, part of it might be just me being too hard on myself. Part of it might just be my opinion, maybe somebody will see it and really enjoy it. In fact, there's some of my most popular videos on my channel, I'd say, are not really my favorite exhibits I've done at all. But I think, and not my best work either, I don't think so. But I think part of it does have to do with what animals it is. If it's an animal that's very popular that people really want to see, that could make it more likely to be a popular video. And sometimes people just will think it looks better than I do. So basically, I guess the point I'm making is don't be too hard on yourself. when creating. I mean, ultimately, if you're trying to do exhibits in Zoo Tycoon or trying to do any type of creative work, really, just you have to respect the process. You know, you're going to get better, and there's going to be times where you have more inspiration, have more what's the word I'm looking for? Just more creativity than you would on other days. So just sort of push through that, and you know, accept that not everything is going to be perfect, because I think those who spend their lives pursuing perfection in any type of creative work are just going to be disappointed, because let's face it, it does not exist. So as you can see here, though, I'm just going through. I looked through the sort of lower viewing area, and I do realize right here I actually made a mistake. I didn't put a middle rail there, but oh well, minor detail on that staircase there, but oh well. Anyway, now I'm going to the top level, and so this is sort of have this main viewing area here, where you get a pretty good view of the whole exhibit, and then once you go around the other side, you'll be able to see into the barn, and then also have another sort of straightaway view of the entire exhibit. And then once you get all the way around to the other end, excuse me, there's the whole thing sort of slopes down, and then you can get right up next to the dinosaurs, which I thought was a pretty good idea. I really originally was going to have the whole thing set really low to the ground, but then I got the idea to sort of have this elevated like bridge that goes over the exhibit, and so it ended up with this, what you see right now. So I think it was a good idea. I think it turned out better than my original idea would have. But the only thing about the barn is I noticed they didn't go inside. I'm not quite sure why that is. I don't know if it's a thing with the download itself, with the model, or maybe they need more headroom than that, which shouldn't be that way, but I've seen that before. Like, obviously it is big enough for them to fit. It just might not, the game might not view it that way, which if that's the case, that's fine. I don't really care, because I know if this were a real exhibit, they would be able to get into it there, and I'm more concerned with, you know, the way things look and whether they're realistic rather than just you know, sticking to the game's mechanics, because let's face it, the game is it's quite old now, and it was never meant to be as detail oriented as it is now with all the mods and stuff. So you're just gonna have to deal with stuff like that. So I accept that, and I don't really worry about it. But now we're going to the actual exhibit. You can see what it looks like from ground level, get closer to the dinosaurs. We are coming up on the end of the video here pretty soon, so I'll sort of take this time to remind you to go ahead and check out AnimalGenius's channel. Link will be in the description, and it'll also pop up on the screen at the end of towards the end of the video, so you can go check out his channel, see his videos in this series, as well as check out some of the other Zoo Tycoon and other games on his channel. So and then also I will ask you guys one more time, those of you who aren't following me on Twitter, it'd be awesome if you guys could do that, just because I do a lot of keeping you guys up to date as far as like updates on the channel and stuff. I try to keep it mostly on there rather than having to make a video on here to do that. So if you want to stay up to date on everything that I'm doing and starts going on with new series and updates just in general of the channel, that's a good thing to do. So, but this is pretty much the end of the video here, guys, so I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.